Do you have kids that are returning to school during this pandemic? Or are you a student currently attending school? Or are you just worried about COVID-19? My name is Christian Cruz, and I'm here to inform you of the pros and the cons of students returning to school during a worldwide pandemic, along with my opinion on this topic. Excuse me. Now, the reason this topic is so personal is because I work in a COVID ICU, a neurotrauma turned COVID ICU, and I have seen a lot of death due to COVID-19 or underlying issues that rapidly increase the inevitable in someone's life. It speeds it up. Now, before someone dies because of COVID or just any reason, but especially because of COVID, they go through so much in order to stay with us, and it's brutal. IV medication, intubation, tubes down the throat. If they're awake to see all of this, then everybody coming in the room has on so much protective equipment. I have worn this protective equipment. It's almost like a hazmat suit, and you never get to know who your caretakers are, and just visually, just by voice. The key points I will cover are the pros of students returning to school during COVID-19 and the cons of students returning to school during COVID-19. I also will share with you my opinion on students returning to school during COVID-19, which I have probably more to say about that than the pros and cons. Now, the pros of students returning to school during a worldwide pandemic, during COVID-19, is the opportunity to socialize, which is so important for the development stage of children that it is just immaculate, as well as allows for tutoring in person if needed, because I'm a visual learner. I need to see it in order to learn it. Now, parents will also have childcare provided. You don't have to take off work or try to find arrangements for your kids. Now, another is kids who may not get a meal every day at home because maybe funds are tight are guaranteed one at school. And lastly, children are not at home alone. They're out somewhere. They're safe at school with teachers. Now, the opposite side of that is the cons of students returning to school during a pandemic is tutoring must be done in a clean, distanced way. It is difficult, and that means it could be electronic, which is, like I said, I'm a visual. I wouldn't be able to do that. And you must follow strict CDC guidelines in class. Visitation to resources like the library and student offices like Student Union and Proctor Testing are limited or not allowed in person. You've got to do these things via your website, on the phone when it comes to speaking with your academic advisor. Another con is difficulty making new friends because, like I said, we read facial expressions. So now you have to visualize and really understand what they're talking about. Teachers will also have a hard time making their students keep their mask on constantly, especially if you have them, the little ones. Although we can be stubborn as well. Now, my opinion on students returning to school during COVID-19 is I believe returning to schools during this pandemic is not the brightest. Now, whether it's your 5-year-old finally getting, to go to kindergarten, this is their first time branching off away from you, or it's, us college students, freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors. It has been proven over the last couple of months that no matter what restrictions you implement, students will be students. We will be us, People are people and can and will get this virus, whether it be from throwing parties when you probably shouldn't, or just pulling your mask down. We all do it, pulling it down at a Starbucks. It seems inevitable. My recommendation would always be to keep your mask on, obviously, and stay healthy by staying active and taking vitamins. Make sure you're all working out, eating the right stuff, and then take the vitamins that you maybe be lacking in. Now, as we come to the end of this speech, excuse me, As we come to the end of this speech, the key points I hope you took away from this are the pros and the cons of students returning to school during a pandemic. And like I said, this is a crazy time we live in. Now, how do you feel about COVID and children returning to school during a worldwide pandemic? Thank you for your time. My name is Christian Cruz.